Hi, and welcome to this episode of Creating a Life that Nourishes Body and Soul. Today, we're going to be talking to Lana Stevenson, who is a personal trainer with a twist. I'm super excited to talk to Lana about the her area of expertise. She creates exercise programs for cancer patients and people with chronic disease. So she's got a really beautiful attitude and approach to health and fitness. Lana is the founder of Resilience Shift Health, Wellness, and Fitness, a renowned cancer exercise specialist and passionate advocate for using movement and nutrition as tools for chronic disease prevention and longevity. With over 3 decades of experience in the health and wellness industry, Lana has dedicated her career to creating safe and effective exercise programs that empower individuals to live longer, healthier lives. Born and raised in South Africa, Lana later immigrated to Toronto, Canada, before settling in San Diego, California, where she has called home since 1995. Throughout her life, Lana has been a competitive athlete, achieving a black belt in karate and completing over 20 marathons and numerous other distance races at high level. However, Lana's journey took an unexpected turn when her younger daughter was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer 9 years ago. As a single mother and sole provider, Lana navigated the challenges of her daughter's treatment journey while continuing to run her personal training business. This experience inspired Lana to become a certified advanced cancer exercise specialist and to create personalized exercise programs for cancer patients and survivors. Recognizing the transformative power of exercise, Lana is dedicated to debunking the myth that cancer patients should rest as much as possible during treatment. Instead, she champions the benefits of movement for physical health and emotional well-being, helping survivors regain a sense of normalcy and independence. Lana utilizes innovative tools like blood flow restriction training, empowering medically challenged individuals to safely engage in exercise and optimize their health outcomes. Through her expertise and unwavering commitment, Lana is making a meaningful difference in the lives of those facing cancer and many other chronic diseases, one personalized exercise program at a time. She is also passionate about preventing chronic disease through lifestyle change. So welcome, Lana.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks for having me. I appreciate this opportunity.
I'm especially happy to talk to you because I know that there are many people who, like myself, had a really not healthy relationship with exercise, which it didn't occur to me that that was even really possible because, exercise is healthy, right? But it is possible to have an unhealthy relationship with exercise. And so I'm really thrilled to talk to you today about what is a really healthy relationship with exercise and with movement. So thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Tracy. Well, that's interesting because I could never understand how people could have an unhealthy relationship with exercise because I am really, really grateful. Being raised in South Africa, we didn't even have television till my junior year of high school. So our lives were around outside sport, playing, and it was in the time of apartheid. So we were very secluded from the rest of the world. We had major boycotts because of apartheid, which we really didn't understand growing up. But the positive effect of that was, we were just sports people. That was our lives, and it just fed us so much. I would run with my dad before college, and you know, I would be in the dojo doing karate before college. It was like totally my life, and I loved it. I lived it, breathed it, and I could never understand how anyone could not want to do this. Yeah. But for me it was again like so lucky that I grew up in a family where my dad was into yoga when I was very young. So, I watched him with the very healthy foods. And at that time, especially in South Africa, there was not much available. And so it just became part of who I was. And when I got married very young, right out of college, I went to college, did a business degree, and my ex-husband, we were at the same college. He was an architect, and at that time, the military was mandatory. So after college, he had to go to 2 years. We got married in that time, and then in 1985, I had my oldest daughter. Apartheid was still very much part of South Africa. There was no indication it wasn't going to be, but things started getting rough. And I decided no child of mine is going to grow up in this. So we looked around, and my sister had already gone to Toronto. She'd been there a year and a half. So that's where we went initially. And then to San Diego. So when I got to San Diego, my passion being exercise, not business. I wanted to do my master's in exercise physiology, but they didn't recognize my bachelor's degree from South Africa, and I would have had to do this and this. And I thought, no, I can't do that. I have like a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old. It's not the time. So I got into personal training through the different certifications. And again, my practice was based on performance and then just general fitness. Um, and I loved it. I mean, I didn't even, it was something I don't think about. It's like brushing my teeth. I get out of bed. That's what, my day doesn't start until I exercise. But in 2014, my younger daughter was diagnosed with colon cancer, which was stage 3 at the time, but they had to remove 3/4 of her colon. And it hit her hard with chemotherapy, but it had already permeated lymph nodes. And very soon, 6 months later, she got her first lung metastasis, and that was stage 4. So long story short, over these past 10 plus years, she's on her 8th round of chemotherapy. She's had at least 12 surgeries, and she has really outlived what they thought. So she's an incredibly resilient spirit, but things are starting to get hard. So when I saw what she was going through, like being a single mom, I'm the only one here taking care of her. I wrote an ebook, um, mostly I think therapeutic, and it was about for parents who are caregiving adult children. It's very different than taking care of a minor, because they have their own lives. You have to respect their partners. You have to respect, they're not going to do things the way you want them to. And so that in itself was a learning curve. And I was just going through this whole process, and the medical system has changed quite a bit in 10 years. I mean, they would prescribe opiates, like they would want you to rest and stay like rested during chemo, keep your energy. I mean, in the infusion center with these bowls of candy. And I'm like, no. And so as I'm going along, I'm learning that this is all wrong. And then I found the Cancer Exercise Training Institute, and I thought, hey, that's my world. So I slowly got into that. And I know the exercise part very well, because every cancer, and even within the same cancer, different procedures, different types of chemo, different surgeries will affect how someone can move their body. And you have to really tap into that in order not to injure them. And so I really thought, wow, if I can just help anyone get through this, watching the pain of her existence. And then I thought, well, why just cancer? And so I went on to most of the chronic diseases, became a medical exercise specialist, and as well as a lifestyle and longevity specialist. Why even get there? Like, let's prevent this. And in this process, and over the years, it would be just incredible if people with chronic disease could actually get medical exercise as part of their insurance. But at this point, they can use their flex plans or their HSA now to get training with a medical exercise specialist, and also, which I'll tell you about later, the B3 bands, which is a tool I use for blood flow restriction training. If their physician or therapist tells them, that this is medically necessary for this person to exercise, they could also use the HSA or flex plan to pay for those. So that's a little advancement in our system, but a lot of work to do. So what I think people haven't understood, and I've been learning as I go. I'm now into trying to really figure out, like I understand good nutrition, but
Mhm.
not healing nutrition like to the nth degree, which is what one needs to prevent and especially to overcome these illnesses. Because what they're discovering is that most chronic diseases, cancers, not just diabetes, cancers, blood pressure, etc., they're all caused by insulin resistance. And it's how that one hormone, that insulin, is so potent. And when that gets out of whack, it creates all these different diseases. So if nutrition and exercise, if you get that down, you can prevent all of this and you can reverse.
So tell me what you've seen, because this perspective of um, pursuing exercise or continuing or even taking up exercise in the midst of cancer or treatment for some other chronic disease, that's a whole different perspective because usually it's like, okay, well, so what you need to do is you just need to rest. You just need to rest and let your body heal as best it can. So what have you seen, what differences have you seen in people who are continuing to exercise through these illnesses?
So it is really difficult because they feel awful and they don't want to exercise.
Hmm.
They don't even want to get off a couch.
Hmm.
And the difference is that when you exercise, you the goal is to create nitric oxide and human growth hormone, which that is when exercise is the most effective and does what it needs to do in reversing, um, insulin resistance, etc. However, the problem with that is, unless you're under 21 or an elite athlete, most healthy adults can't get that high intensity to get that nitric oxide release. And that's why this biohack that I found 3 years ago, it's been in Japan since the 60s and only come to the States about 10 years ago. So people are still skeptical, but it's one of the greatest biohacks that I can even, it's like a godsend.
Hmm.
Because what you do is you put these blood flow restriction bands at the top of your arms and at the
Hmm.
top of your legs. You pump them up to a certain weight and a certain pressure, and it's individualized for each person. And everybody is safe to use it as long as they have a green light from the doctor just to exercise. The only people who can't use them are people with sickle cell anemia, or if you have lymphedema, you just can't use it on that limb.
Hmm.
So what it does, it slows the blood flow down to the working muscle. So what that does, it tricks your brain into thinking you are working harder than you are. And then your brain sends the message to your pituitary glands to secrete nitric oxide and human growth hormone. So you literally have to just be in this burn like 3 to 5 minutes a day. So there are different protocols for how you want to work it. So also you don't need to lift heavy weights.
Hmm.
So that's why it's so effective for people with chronic disease, for elite athletes. Olympic athletes are using it to get the edge. Um, and just for your person who doesn't love exercise, it's like you put these bands on, even go walk your dog while your dog's taking a poop, do 10 squats, like whatever. It just amplifies
Hmm.
what you're doing. And you don't need to do more, because once you've got that, you only get a certain amount,
Hmm.
that will be released. So and I tested on myself before, because I didn't even think of it for athletes when I first saw them and bought into it. Um, I thought of it for chronic disease because
Hmm.
was my clientele. But I thought, hey, let me try it. And I have to tell you, like, I'm 65 now, and I used to be one of the top level marathon runners in San Diego, in my age group, especially, like, always medaled. And past 50, what I found was every time I tried to up the ante, I would get injured. And Now with this, you don't have to do that kind of mileage. You don't get injured. You can walk at an incline and get the same effect as if you've gone for a run, and you can do it half the time. So it's so healing in that what it produces in your body is so healing as well that physical therapists use them, chiropractors use them to help with healing in in their practices. And
Mhm.
some of them have like much, they have their machines will be like thousands of dollars, whereas
Mhm.
the ones we have are they're the only ones that have like the safety, all the safety studies done
Mhm.
because you cannot actually occlude your blood. You can go on Amazon and buy for $40, but they can be dangerous. So, this ours you cannot include the blood. And I just found that it the healing and the feeling that you get when you're doing that and you don't do a lot was above and beyond anything I'd imagined. Because initially when I love exercise. So when they said, "Oh, you only have to do 10, 15 minutes a day," I'm like, "No, I want to go, I want to run 20 miles." But as my life has it, and taking care of my daughter and running my practice, it's become like I can get up, do my 15 minutes, and I'm set for the day. If I want to, I can do longer, but I don't need that. And it's life changing. It's just absolutely last year. I decided I would go run a race for the first time in like 10 years, a cross country race, which I did, and I medaled and I did great. But I also fell and I broke my wrist
Mhm.
pretty bad. I thought, okay, BFR, let's see how the healing goes here, because the orthopedic doctor told me that at my age, this is going to take 8 to 10 weeks, 5 weeks, five
Mm.
weeks, completely healed, no physical therapy,
And that's
nothing.
because of the stimulation of the human growth hormone.
Human growth hormone and the nitric oxide. Yeah.
Nitric acid. So one, aside from speeding up, I mean, how does that work? How does that help the healing go faster?
Um, I don't quite know the science of it. It it prevents blood vessels from, like if you don't have the nitric oxide and the healing, if you don't have your blood flow working correctly, and your blood vessels are narrowing as we get older. It just has it's a human growth hormone and the nitric oxide that just it creates it's the blood flow to the injured part that is healed, is healing.
Mhm. And so these are things that can be helpful to whether you have chronic disease or not. It can help you in your workouts.
Anti-aging, anti-aging. Yeah, it's totally it gives you what you like, your skin, everything. Yeah.
Hmm. Oh,
So
interesting. So you said this has been around in Japan
since the
since the
60s,
60s. That's a long time.
very long time, and no one, and they were using it for their elite athletes back then. Yeah, so who found it? It was a Dr. Yashiko Saito in 1966 was founded in Japan.
Wow.
And then Dr. Jim Stray Gunderson brought it here. The Katsu system was the first one here, which was very, very effective. So yeah, I mean it's been life-changing for many people. I have a diabetic client who, a young woman, she's 33. She was about 250 pounds, and she was already on insulin.
Mm.
And using the bed, she hated exercise, obviously, because she felt so uncomfortable. And she can do 10 minutes a day. It took 10 months. She lost 90 pounds. Her vision had already started going. Her ophthalmologist was blown away by how even her retinas had reversed,
Mm-hmm.
and she's still on insulin, but a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can't reverse. Like once you've gone too far, it's
Right.
difficult to get off the insulin. But still, her whole quality of life has changed. And then, it's not just exercise. It's what I'm learning more now is really diving deep into the nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
and faith. It's that whole triad,
Mm-hmm.
body, mind, spirit. And you learn the mind is so powerful. The mind is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal is like to empower people. And even if they don't get the physical absolute and they do the minimal, the fact that they can do something and start to do a little more, a little more, a little more, um, is so empowering to them because you're told you have cancer. It's a death sentence. It's like, and you just want to remove that mindset
Mm-hmm.
and create hope.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself is, it to me it just changes my day. It's just little tiny little things that I see in my clients,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of hope and feeling better.
Yeah. Yeah. And so for people who may not have, well, like for myself, I as I said earlier, had for a lot of my adult life had a not very healthy relationship with exercise. Not that I didn't do it, I did. I was pretty faithful with that. But my purpose for it was always rooted in diet culture. It was always either to lose weight or to make sure I didn't gain weight or to lose inches. And those are, while it's better to exercise than not,
Mhm.
Um, this is not at all your approach. You're not talking about calorie burn.
No.
You're not talking about reshaping your body. You're not talking about any of that. Um, Talk to us a little bit more about what you feel the real, even outside of being able to help with chronic disease. Um, what do you think? What do you feel is your purpose for exercise? What's the real benefit of it?
It is to prevent getting old and feeling old and being old. The purpose of exercise, for me, it's actually not about the body, how one looks, because that just happens with, as a side effect, as far as I'm concerned. It's about the whole anti-aging process. You don't want to get old and feel old, and you don't have a life. I mean, I'm looking at my mom. She's 86. My dad passed away 2 years ago. But after he passed away, I started working with her with the bands twice a week online. She lives in Canada. She's still driving. She's the only one of her friends still driving. She gets up and down off the floor. You would never
Mm,
think she was 86 years old. And I look at that and I go, that's the reason. She's independent. She can manage her life on her own very well. She's the taxi for all her friends because no one else can drive. For me, it's independence
So it's
and
about the vitality of
quality of
life.
life, just quality of life.
Nice. Nice. Well, thank you so much, Lana. And you have a free offer for everyone who's registered. And then you also have a VIP offer for those who have purchased that package or will purchase that package. Do you want to tell us about those?
Sure. I would love to have a free consultation with anyone who's interested, in why or how, and I do online training as well. And for the VIP package, I these are the full set of BFR bands. I don't know if you can see, but I will offer those at a very substantial discount, which we could talk about on, when we have the interview. They're currently, I think, 470 retail, worth every penny, and 100% guaranteed money back guarantee for 30 days. So, if you hate them, you can give them back. But the product is great. I've had mine for 3 years. I wear them every day. You can use them in the pool. You can use them in the pool. Yeah, I do deep water running with them. So people who have joint issues, arthritis, you know, they're just incredible. So
Hmm.
that would be in my VIP offer as well as we have a a new app called B3U, whereby we have live workouts every day, and I would give you a 7-day free trial of that if you chose to, go with the bands.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much, Lana. And, and so closing with my favorite question to you, Lana, what are one, two, or three of your top things that you feel are really key to creating a life that's nourishing body and soul?
Understanding why you're doing it, number one, I think, and I think that's what the tough part is for a lot of people, especially younger people. When you're young, you're invincible. As you get older, you understand, gee, I wish I would have done this. And so I think if people can understand why they're doing it, and again, not just for how your body looks, for inner peace, to know that you're taking care of yourself. And like that would be my key number one, is understanding why you're doing it, and finding someone who can guide you into a proper exercise regimen for the right reasons and keep you safe. And depending whatever field you're into, if you're into running, you'd come to someone like me. If you're into lifting, if that's your interest, you got to find something you love and understand why you're doing it. And then the nutrition part is the most difficult part in our society today. What is out there is kind of scary. And to be honest, I only got educated on this stuff like recently, because I generally don't indulge in any of that. So it's just blown me away how unhealthy people are. And I think food would be the next thing to try and understand and get control of what you're putting in your mouth for the right reasons, not because you're going to gain weight, because it's going to play havoc with your insulin.
Mm. Thank you so much, Lana. We really appreciate your time and best wishes for you and for your daughter in her
Thank you,
struggles
Tracy.
against this disease. Thank you so much, and join us again for more interviews to help
Thank
you
you.
create a life that nourishes you, body and soul.
Thank you so much, Tracy, and to you. Thank you.